excited about, and why I've brought all you here today, is I want us to seize this amazing opportunity that we've got as a country. Now, I know that there's problems to be fixed, and lots of them. But in the parts of our life where we aren't relying on politics, there's loads of problems that are being solved. Like, millennials are more likely to start a business than any generation in history. Just this morning, we saw news that we have more successful startups from Britain than any country in Europe. This island of 60 million people, creates the music that 6 billion people listen to. But in the parts of our life where we need politics to sort it out, where we need government to take action, things have got stuck. Out there today is a metaphor. There's dark clouds over Westminster, but underneath, Britain is a great country. Britain isn't broken. It's politics that's in a rut. And we need to move forward. We need a fresh start. And it's because we need a fresh start that I'm putting my name forward to be Prime Minister. It's not really about my backstory. I was brought up in a happy, loving, complicated modern family. I watched my parents battle against the odds to build a business. When I was young, they almost lost it all in the early 90s recession. So I know how hard it can be. But we got through. I had good role models. I had a great education. I had consistently high expectations. That was important. But when it comes to understanding me, it isn't so much the backstory. It's the front story that matters. It's about the future. And I'm an optimist about the future. I'm excited about what it holds. I believe the world is getting better. And I'm an optimist because I believe in people. I love people. This is one of the reasons I love my job running the NHS so much, because the amazing people who we work with, the amazing people who do so much and deliver for people every single day. And it's what's guided me in everything I've done in politics, in government. It's a simple belief that every single person has a contribution to make. That everyone in society, everyone in this room, everyone has something to give. And it's the role of government to unlock that potential and allow people to fly as high as their aspirations will allow them. Now, not everyone believes this, but I know that if you look deep inside anyone's heart, inside the heart of every single person, there's something of value, and it's our job to help them release it. That's what politics should be for, in service of people. I'm also an optimist because I look at the facts. I look at the world around us and I think, wow, right now, over the last generation, we've brought more people out of poverty around the world than at any other time in history. Right now, you're less likely to die in a war than at any other time before. Last week, we watched in admiration the footage of our grandparents' generation as they waded ashore amid the hail of bullets. I'm sure you saw it. And what really moved me about that, what I really saw in that footage, was the fact that just 2 generations ago, ordinary people, most men under the age of 30, were prepared to die for freedom. And now, thanks to them, we live in freedom. And most people don't even ever have to ask the question, for what would I be prepared to die? Now this peace, this progress, it's precious, and we mustn't take it for granted. They created those sacrifices. They made those sacrifices to create a better world. And we have the freedom to travel, the freedom to communicate with anybody you want, instantly. The freedom just to be who we are. We have freedom like never before. And for all the problems, ask yourself this. If you could choose what time you'd be alive, wouldn't you choose now? So I believe that we have to harness this progress. We've got to never tire in tackling the problems that face us, but we've got to be confident in what we've achieved. And if I'm your Prime Minister, I will bring every ounce of energy and optimism to improve lives for all. The next question I've got is how? How do we go about this? To get things done, you need a credible plan. And the reality is, the first task of the next Prime Minister will be to deliver Brexit. Because without that, none of us can move forward. My Brexit delivery plan is the only credible plan that can deliver Brexit by the 31st of October with the support both of the European Union and the House of Commons. That is just the reality of the situation. Some have said, stick with the current plan, but the current plan has been seen to fail. Others say, let's just run at no deal. But the brutal truth is, we know that no deal will not get through the House of Commons. And then there's this idea from some people, you might have heard of it. There's this idea from some people that to deliver Brexit, we should suspend our parliamentary democracy, that we should prorogue Parliament. But that goes against everything that those men who waded onto those beaches fought and died for. And I will not have it. Since I published it, my Brexit plan has received more support here and in Europe as a credible and deliverable plan than anything else that anyone has said. So I will deliver Brexit. But this can't just be about Brexit, because Britain is about so much more than Brexit. We've got to deliver Brexit, and then we've got to move forward. Because if we think Brexit is the biggest issue facing this country, we've got another thing coming. My God, there's this huge, massive revolution driven by technology that's changing everything. I sometimes feel in this leadership debate so far, I sometimes feel that it's completely focused on the here and now. It's a bit like Britain's in the 1840s, and we had a Tory leadership race then. Most politicians were still banging on about the Corn Laws. And then there's this guy who says, there's an industrial revolution going on. It's fundamentally changing the lives of every person in this country. And instead of just talking about the here and now, we need to talk about the future. And it's just the same today. And the impact this new revolution, the impact is energizing. It's full of promise, but it's also unsettling. And it's also destabilizing. And the truth is, it's only going to get faster. If you think about it, the pace of change that we're living through today is the slowest pace of change we're going to be living through for the rest of our lives. The slowest. It's only going to get faster. And unless we harness this change for the benefit of people, the scale of it is going to be overwhelming. Now, I know that the mantra of Silicon Valley is move fast and break things. But the problem is that things that really matter are starting to break. Like our sense of national community, self-esteem of our children, the possibility of civilized debate, our sense of relevance and belonging and meaning in a world that's governed by machines and algorithms. This is what we're living through, right? And in their place, the threat of automation, poor mental health, angry ideologies clashing all the time on social media, dividing communities, unpicking the fabric of the nation. And while liberal ideas defeated both communism and fascism in the last century, it's clear that today our collective faith in that liberal story is being challenged by this massive disruption. We can't allow this sane and sensible country that we love to enter a new age of nihilism and narrow nationalism. So I refuse to be the leader offering simplistic solutions and populist answers to such profound change. Instead, I offer an emotionally charged platform to improve lives that is rooted in objective fact. Some people say these changes are too big and too inevitable for us to do anything about it, that the devil always has the best tunes. I say no. We are masters of our own destiny. We can win this fight. Ultimately, the success of liberal democracy and our way of life depends on it. We can and we must work with this change and master it and bend it to our benefit. Not move fast and break things. My mantra is move fast and make things happen. And the prize for all this, the prize is big. We Conservatives have always been at our best when we've been driven by optimistic liberal values. Values that unite Pitt and Disraeli and Thatcher. Get this right again with energy and ideas and vision, and once again we can be at the vanguard. We can be a model again for others to follow. And we can turn the next decade into the soaring 20s for the people of Britain, for every part of the country, powering up the north, defending our precious union. Now, what does this
Well, Matt Hancock there, the first of the Conservative leadership candidates to launch his campaign. He claims to be the candidate who knows about tech. He obviously doesn't know about backlighting. Sorry, that picture's a bit dark. Well, joining me is our political correspondent, Kate McCann. What are the main points of Matt Hancock there?
I think Matt Hancock is trying to shift this leadership